Hello there everyone and welcome to our video release hop. Today we'll be sharing some fabulous holiday kind of looks that we have with the new products. So this is the card that we're going to be creating and let's get into it. So first off, I have a piece of cardstock here and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And on here, we are going to be creating a fabulous scene with the Stencil Art Serene Landscapes. This is so pretty. Taking the mountain kind of stencil that we have here, and we are going to be creating a very pretty sky. To start with, I have the baby pink and I've just added that with a mini blending tool. I then wanted to add a little touch of purple, and to do that I'm just going to be using some of the deep iris right along that kind of mountain ridge that we have there. To blend that out a little bit more, I'm just going to go back into the pink, so this is the baby pink, and I'm just blending that purple out a little bit just to add that softness that we have there. I wanted to go into some kind of peachy shades, so to kind of bridge the gap between the baby pink and the peachy keen, I'm going to go in with the orange sorbet. This is a very light orange color, but it does have a kind of pinky tone to it, so I thought that this would work really well. And then once I've added the orange sorbet, I'm then going to go in with the peachy keen. I did have a darker orange on my desk, but I decided not to use that. I didn't need it. So that's why I've just gone in with those. On the same stencil, we have this kind of land piece. You can use it as snow, but I wanted to make this as some grass. So I'm going to go in with the mossy meadow. And I'm then also going to be using some of that misty sage to add in the grass. Once that's done, I'm going to move on to the next stencil. In this one, we have the kind of mountains on this one. For the mountains, I am going to be using some blue colors to add that kind of frosty feel that we have here. I am going to be using some of the icy water and then some of the polar bear to kind of blend that out. As you can see, I'm not covering the whole of the image, just the top part, and that will just give me the look of the mountains there. I'm going to use the same colors for the other mountain that we have on the next stencil. So that is the icy water and also the polar bear. For the trees that we have on this stencil, I am going to go in with the winter lake. You could definitely do these green if you wanted to, but I wanted to add that kind of misty look to the trees that we have. To add in the stars, I wanted to add in a metallic look to these. So I have the metallic marker in the silver and I've just dotted around to add in the fabulous little stars that we have going on there. To create a kind of window on the panel that we're going to be able to see through so we can see the mountain scene below. So what I have here is the nesting circles and I'm just going to pop that into place. So that's in the place there. So it's half-tone circles nesting die set, this one, and this was the larger one. Just pop that into place, added a little bit of tape and then ran that through my die cutting machine. I then wanted to add a little bit of texture to this panel, so I am using the elegant bows, just popping that die cut panel in there into place and then running that through my die cutting machine to get the fabulous texture on that panel. For my kind of main element, I wanted to add a little house, so I have the Cozy Homes die here, and I've cut one of the houses, so all of the elements for one of the houses out of white cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to colour these in with some inks. You could definitely use coloured cardstock to cut these out if you wanted to. So for this piece here, I'm just cutting off the little chimney and also the side piece. And then I'm just adding all of the little pieces that I am going to add some colour to my ultra sticky mat. The little door and also the windows I am going to leave white, so I've left those over to the side. I'm using the cocoa cream for the little chimney, and I'm then going to go in with golden honeycomb on the same die cut to add the colour there. Now you could definitely do 2 different die cuts for this, but I wanted to save a little bit of cardstock, so I've added 2 colours to one of the die cuts. The one that we trimmed down, I've also used the honey golden honeycomb on there as well. For the little wooden pieces for the roof, I am going to be using the Teal Tempest, and I'm then going to be using some fabulous kind of aqua colours for the little house that we have here. So for the larger piece that we have on the front, I am going to be using the Mountain Mist and then adding a little bit of shadow just at the bottom with the Volcano Lake. I'm then going to use the smaller piece, I'm going to use the Volcano Lake and then a little bit of Lagoon to add that shadow. Once that has been done, all of the pieces have been coloured. I did leave them to dry a little minute so I could then stick them together. I'm just using some wet glue. You could use whatever wet glue that you have, or you could use the Altenew glue tape. That would work perfectly well if you did allow all of the ink to dry perfectly. I am using the kind of guide that I have on the packaging to know where these pieces go together perfectly, but it was really easy to add these pieces in. As you can see, I'm just using wet glue, just adding a tiny bit touch of that, using my little tweezers to add that back into place. For the little windows and the door, it is kind of fiddly to add the glue on there, so I would recommend that you are using a glue with a teeny tiny tip on there. Just a tiny amount of glue is going to be sufficient enough to add these pieces into place. I just love how cute this is, and the fact that when you add these little windows on, it really does finish it off perfectly. So once I have the door in place, you can then add the little handle, but I'm just going to use that marker that I use for the stars just to add the little metal handle on there, and it's just so cute. I then wanted to add some kind of trees, but add a little bit of sparkle. So I have the Nesting Triangles die set, and I'm just going to take a couple of these smaller triangles, and I'm going to use these to create some glittery trees or even mountains if you wanted to go behind the little house that we have. So I cut 3 of them, one larger and then 2 smaller. And then I've added some of the Instant Dimension foam tape behind the panel that we have, the one that we cut the circle from and then textured with the 3D embossing folder. And I'm then going to add that right on top of the little scene, just so we can see the portion of the scene that we want to through that circle die cut that we have. And I just think that this looks so pretty. I then decided to kind of trim this down a little, so I've just cut off 1/4 inch just to one of the sides and to the top. So when I pop this on the card base, we're just going to have a really small border around the outside edge of this. To add this down to my card base, which is 4 1/4 and 5 1/2, I'm just going to add some ultra sticky tape just to the back of the panel and then pop this into place. I do eyeball this to make sure that I have a kind of similar border around the outside edges, but you could definitely measure it if you wanted to, but I'm all about eyeballing it into place. Once that's done, we're then going to add in our little elements that we have, so the little trees or mountains they could be, and then the little house into position. For the trees, I am going to add a single layer of Instant Dimension foam tape, the OG, so the original one, the one that is huge. And I am adding that to the tops or the bottoms of the trees just to get them into position. And you can see that I am adding the house back into position to make sure that the trees I have are in the right place where I want them to be. Once that's done, I'm going to add the house into position. So for one part of the house, the top piece there, I've added a double layer of Instant Dimension foam tape. And then for the other pieces that I added down, I only added 1. So we have a level house when we stick that down. I have a bowl of lots of little bits and pieces from this release, and I did have some of the sentiments from the Sleigh Rides greetings, and I'm going to use one of those. And what I've done with these, I've just heat embossed them using some of the antique gold embossing powder onto some white cardstock. So I've just embossed all of them and then die cut them with the coordinating die. So I'm just going to add a little bit of foam tape behind there and then add that into position. And I just love how this looks. It's so fresh and clean, but we also have lots of pops of color going on everywhere on this card. And here is the card complete. I really do hope that you liked it and you've enjoyed the video as well. Don't forget to keep hopping so you can see more inspiration using the fabulous release from all of our guest designers and designers. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Wait, we have more where that came from. If you're after fabulous card making tutorials, you are definitely in the right spot. Our amazing design team create and upload fabulous video tutorials right to this YouTube channel. If you don't want to miss another amazing crafting tutorial, don't forget to subscribe and click that fun red button that you can see. Let's become paper crafting experts together.